fight fans, moviegoers, Jedis, and Sith. I'm Jay Windu, and welcome to the Star Wars Dad and Jay Windu's Lightsabers 101 with special guest, none other than Maze. That's right, guys. And well, John, let them know what's going on, man. How you doing? How you doing, Maze? How's everybody?
Dude, I'm tired.
I hear that, man. And Maze is with us. He'll be in and out. And we'll be talking lightsabers, man, exactly how they work. I've got a hilt here, which is Anakin Skywalker's hilt. And of course, John has got some things too that he'll show us as well. And well, we're going to get very in depth into lightsabers. That's why it's Lightsabers 101, episode one, which we'll be talking more and going more in depth. But what's going on, guys, man? What's on the agenda, John?
Well, out of all this world, did you see um, the House talking to Mark Zuckerberg today and AOC stupid comments that came out of her mouth?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sure
I
did.
I I watched the video on the way home, and I about just fell over how dumb she was.
Yeah, man. So tell us, man. Let's talk some lifesavers, man.
All right, we can talk lightsabers tonight. I am all for it and ready to get knee deep into it, man.
Oh yeah. So let us start, man. Let us know exactly what the hell. If you guys don't know what a kyber crystal is, well, John is gonna tell you exactly what a kyber crystal is.
All right, guys. Most anybody that's a Star Wars fan has heard of the term of a kyber crystal. And if you have watched any form of animated Star Wars cartoons, you've seen the planet Ilum. That's where the majority of your natural forming kyber crystals are. But what a lot of people really don't know, though, is that anyone that picks a kyber crystal that is not a force sensitive person, it's a rock. I mean, it's just a rock that would be on the ground, in a crystal form. I mean, there's nothing special about it to anyone that is not force sensitive. So, with that being said, when Jedi's go out and they find their first kyber crystal, um, I mean, it's a huge deal because that kyber crystal is forming a bond with that Jedi. It's and in actuality, that Jedi, they can't just take the crystal and just poke it into a lightsaber and it's going to work. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
One of the most famous things that you ever see is Luke Skywalker when he makes his green bladed lightsaber. Um, he did not use a naturally occurring kyber crystal. He used a Sith red um, crystal, which Sith don't use kyber crystals
Right.
because I do not consider Disney lightsabers canon. I'm going by George Lucas canon, and Sith use synthetic crystals, which they milled themselves. And the amazing thing about Sith crystals, um, they would they would manufacture them themselves. They were usually stronger than most kyber crystals, and a lot of times they could actually short out a lightsaber um, by striking it because it was a stronger crystal and it had a stronger wavelength when it actually struck a Jedi lightsaber. A lot of times.
Right. Now tell us the all right, the difference between the colors, right? Like you had the blue, green, purple, amethyst, and the amber, if you don't mind, this is Lightsabers 101. So please break it down, John, because you are well versed, man. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, now lightsaber colors is it's it depends on which canon you're actually talking about, because Jedi, you had remarkably three different colors of crystals for the Jedi. You had blue, you had green, and then you had yellow. Those were the main lightsaber crystals, lightsaber colors that you saw for Jedi. You had Jedi such as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker that had blue bladed lightsabers, which signified they were more of the warrior class inside of the Jedi Order.
Right.
Then you had people with green lightsabers, such as Yoda. You had Luke Skywalker. And these people were signified as immense force users. They would draw on the force before ever thinking about um, drawing their blade.
Right.
And then you had yellow lightsabers, which is a term used for gray Jedi, but also the temple guards, the Jedi that were temple guards. They had not what we think of as regular lightsabers. They had what's called force pipes that used yellow lightsabers, to signify that they were temple guards. They were
Right.
force users that were temple guards.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Any feedback on this maze?
Just that the green lightsaber, I think the old Republic term was consulars, Jedi consulars.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
They were the heavy force users.
But see, I mean, as far as canon goes, I mean, there are so many lightsaber colors. You have acid, yellow, amber, amethyst, aqua, black, which I don't consider black. The dark saber to me is not canon. I think the dark saber's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You can have blue lightsabers with like black cores to them.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. They're real pretty too. Real fucking beautiful.
You can have gold blades. You can have orange. You can have like crackling orange. You can have crackling yellows. You can also have any color with a black undertone to it. And then Sith, they can have varying degrees of red too, depending on how they actually machine their crystals. It from like Darth Maul, his crystals were, if you read the book, they were almost like blood red, while the crystal that Palpatine used, it was almost like had almost like a pink hue to it, which indicated that was just about as perfect as he can make a crystal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shit. And I also think that the red crystal is basically I see the red crystal as possibly one of the symbols as to being powerful within the dark side, but yet it's very common for Sith to have a red fucking saber.
Well, the reason the Sith use red sabers, it's to mock the Jedi. That's why they use the red color. It's
Right.
not there to signify power or to bleed a lightsaber crystal. It's to mock the Jedi. That's why they use red crystals and red blades.
Gotcha. I like to say, what's up? May the force be with you, and welcome, Jedi Sith. That's right. I like to say, special roll call. Let's do a roll call. James Clark, Art and Entertainment. What's going on, James? Hybrid 95. My man PED is in the house, of course. And of course, man, everybody else that's on, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. And we hope that we're dropping the knowledge on lightsabers, as well as if you guys have any input whatsoever, man, just put it down here and we'll read it out. I'll put it up on the board. You know what I mean? Peace to everybody out there that's listening on in. Now, this here, what I have here in my hand, is basically Anakin Skywalker. This is a model of Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber hilt here. Now, John, you want to break this down exactly what these lightsabers are and what are the specifications and schematics on this thing here as I point along?
Okay. On the outside, all lightsabers have a power button. All right. First and foremost, all lightsabers have a power button. Very good.
Right.
Now, if you have a gifted Jedi or a gifted Sith, okay, they can build a lightsaber where, unless you're a Force user, you cannot power that lightsaber on. It's built into the lightsaber.
Right.
All right. Your lightsaber on the inside is broken down into 3 parts. Okay. You have the back of the hilt. Okay. I'm going to call this the power chamber. Okay. Because it's your magnetic resonance. All right. The middle here, that is your crystalline station. You have 2 crystals that make up the inside of the middle of the lightsaber. You have your primary crystal and you have a focusing crystal. Then it goes from the crystal to the top of your hilt where it hits the emitter. All right. Now, on the side of the emitter, you have magnetic resonance that's going north and south. All right. Which you strike your lightsaber on. Power comes from the main power crystal that hits a focusing crystal. That focusing crystal is what actually gives your lightsaber the color that it actually has. Then it goes from there to the emitter, which will shrink all that energy down into the size of the blade and shoot it forward. Now, while all this is going on, this is what makes things so dangerous, because if you're not a Force user and you haven't built this correctly, on both sides of your lightsaber, you have magnetic fields that are pulling your blade north and south. All that power being generated, if you're not a Force user and you haven't put that together, it's going to explode in your hand, because it travels from all the way to the end of the blade and it recirculates, comes back through the emitter all the way back to the hilt and recharges and goes forward. It's a never-ending cycle. This is why you don't have to charge lightsabers anymore. In the early days of lightsabers, they had what was called like a proto pack, that it was like a big battery they wore with a cord that went to the lightsaber itself. And if that thing ran out of battery, you were without a lightsaber.
Think something very similar to the Ghostbusters proton pack, only at the end of the cord was a lightsaber hilt.
Yes.
Exactly. And this here would be the battery pack for Anakin's lightsaber right here. This light right here would charge. It would be green, and it would go in levels as to how it would charge back and forth. And here is exactly where they would charge it. Right here. Right
now,
here.
Something else to remember too. If you were a very, very, very gifted Jedi, Mace Windu was one that you saw do this, and even Yoda did it on his what we call a shotu, which is a very, very short lightsaber, which would be like a dagger, in a human's hand. But he was so small, he created a shotu, which was, for his size. But they would coat their lightsabers in this metal called electro. It looked almost like gold, but it was energy resistant, where if it got struck by another lightsaber, it was able to resist that lightsaber. But it was wickedly expensive, and it was rare as anything. And you also saw Palpatine use it on both of his lightsabers.
Right.
And And Mace Windu's actor Samuel L. Jackson, we know, scribed the letters BMF into that particular Electrum lightsaber.
Yes. Yes. Now, see, but then, okay, you see a big growing up in lightsaber from like Anakin Skywalker when he was a Jedi. Okay. He designed his own, he had like 3 or 4 different lightsabers, when he was an actual Jedi. But when he had his limbs taken off and he made his Sith lightsaber, he made that specifically to tailor to his fighting style. It was absolutely amazing because, as I was talking about with the emitter, in battle, he could lengthen or shorten his blade while fighting to gain advantage on whoever his opponent was. If he needed to keep an opponent at a distance, he would lengthen the blade, and then he could shorten it within milliseconds and stab him because he had his own unique fighting style. He had combined Type 4 with Type 2 and Type 6 to come up with his own, like judo heavy, fighting style that he had to use, wearing his armor, which was absolutely phenomenal.
Didn't he call it Form 7?
Yeah.
I thought he did. It cut very, very, very close to like Darth Maul's style in a way.
Yeah. He would wear you down, and then once you were wore down, he would strike. That's awesome. But I can imagine, though, being in a lightsaber duel with Vader, and watching what they're doing, he reaches out and force chokes, and brings you up in the air. And once he's got you there, just takes his saber and puts it right through your chest.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
let's talk about the precision of a lightsaber, because a lightsaber is laser. So if you were to go, let's just say straight to a limb, you cut an arm straight off, as we seen with Count Dooku, totally destroying Anakin Skywalker in their first duel, because of course Count Dooku was the Sabers man, like he was the Jedi.
He was a duelist.
Yes, he was. And hey, what's up, Mary Mayhem? What's going on, girl? What's going on? Nice to see you. Welcome to the
Hello, Miss
stream.
Mayhem.
Welcome to Lightsabers 101 with the Star Wars dad and myself, and peace to my man Eric Dope, no doubt, baby, wrestling in the house. But
Count Dooku was the guy who he was trained to fight other saber wielders. He wasn't necessarily trained to fight against lasers.
Right.
Because most Jedi during the time, they were taught Form 4. Form 4 relied heavy on deflection of blaster bolts. That's what they were taught. Dooku trained Type 2, which was dueling, just straight up dueling. And Form 2 also used your enemy's weakness against them. Like if if someone was a strength-based fighter, he could see that and use that against them at the same time. If they were very, very dexterous, he could change his duel pattern to match that dexterous fighter. And he was a master when it came to dueling.
Now, let me ask you guys a question here, and this goes to everyone in the chat as well. I want everyone's input on this. Let's put a duel into place really fast. Dooku versus Windu. Ooh.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate here. I'll play both sides. The one thing that Mace Windu had above Dooku was Mace Windu was a master of Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint allows you to see the smallest minute weakness and attack, and it's over. Now, Dooku now was the duelist of duelists, but in my opinion, I think Dooku was a pretty weak Sith. I don't think, as far as being a Sith, he was one of the most powerful Sith, which I don't think Darth Maul was a powerful Sith whatsoever either. Darth Maul was trained to be an assassin, but not a great Sith. Dooku was an amazing Jedi, but as far as Sith powers, I think he was able to pick up on Force lightning because he had his limbs and everything else. But I think Mace Windu would take it to him because he would outpace him and use Dooku's own dark side against him in the duel.
Maze?
I pretty much agree because Windu had that ability to channel dark side power in him through himself and push it back on his opponent. No other Jedi of his time had that ability.
Exactly.
Especially with dark side Dooku. Also, I don't think John mentioned this, but I actually think, despite his experience, Dooku's age would have worked against him in a fight with Mace, dark side or light.
Yes.
They both had experience.
Yeah.
By his age, Mace was what, in his 60s? I think he was. I think he was in his 60s. Dooku was in like his 80s. I think Mace would have worn him down. Just sheer strength.
And one big reason I say that is look at Mace Windu. He had bested Palpatine.
Yeah, Sidious. He had Sidious on his. He had deflected his own shit with his amethyst.
Yeah.
And amethyst and he was fucking begging for help and shit. And if it wasn't for fucking Anakin Skywalker who blindsided him, I think he would have fucking destroyed Anakin Skywalker as well.
Yes. Anakin was just starting to learn his powers during this time, to get more powerful. But Mace Windu bested Palpatine, which was the most powerful Sith in the past 500 years. So, and Palpatine was a master of all lightsaber forms. Not one, not two, but all of them. He was a master of them all. And Mace Windu bested him. He bested him.
He sure did. He sure did. Now, let's do another matchup here. Ben Kenobi versus Windu. Because I can't say Ben Kenobi versus Dooku, because we've already seen the outcome of that.
Now,
Dooku destroyed Ben Kenobi.
Are we talking old Ben or young Ben?
Well, old Ben had no chance, and Dooku went through young Ben, and he went through Anakin at the same time, which was where he severed his fucking forearm.
Because if we're talking, Ben Kenobi after he's been exiled on Tatooine and before, like A New Hope, he was probably one of the best duelists ever. He had grown to that point where he was probably one of the very best duelists ever. And the thing is, though, if you put like Kenobi and Dooku together at the same age, Dooku takes him every time.
Yeah, because he hardly didn't have anything for Vader when he met him at an old age. You know what I mean? He hardly had anything. The only thing he had was just to deflect. That was it.
Yeah.
He had nothing for striking, nothing. And when we get into the lightsaber itself, when George Lucas was thinking of the lightsaber, a lot of people don't know that this was basically the Jedi's samurai sword, or as to what a samurai sword would be to a samurai. And these
Well,
are facts.
well, see, his original concept of the lightsaber, it's a good thing George Lucas had what I call a bunch of smart people around him, because there was concept arts on like the Death Star where um, all stormtroopers were running around carrying lightsabers with a shield, you know, and then he brainstormed with everybody and they came up with Jedi and they came up with the big baddie Sith. And they're like, well, why don't we make, lightsabers a thing that only these people will use? Your space wizards, pretty much, and the birth of the lightsaber. And the hardest thing George Lucas said with coming up with the concept of the lightsaber, though, were the sounds that it makes when you ignite it and when you deactivate it, and the clash sounds when two lightsabers strike each other. He said that was the hardest thing in the world with ever inventing what we think of as far as a modern lightsaber.
Right, right, and it's amazing because the first time I ever saw lightsabers, the first time I seen Ben Kenobi in '77 emit his lightsaber out of its sheath inside of the cantina when he cut that guy's fucking arm off. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, yeah.
What? Wait, I was like, what? Wait, this old man just cut this fucking monster's fucking arm off with a laser sword. Holy shit!
One thing I will never forget, I saw Return the Jedi, Empire Strike Back, and I loved it, right? But then when the trailers came out for Return of the Jedi, all right, and in the trailers, we saw Luke Skywalker with that green lightsaber. We had never seen a green lightsaber before, right? And I was like, holy crap, what is that? And dude, I couldn't get more pumped to go see a movie, because not only does he not have a blue lightsaber now, it's green,
It's like he
and I'm like,
upgraded. It's like as because in The Empire Strikes Back, we were with Yoda and
yeah,
and we were with Obi-Wan when he left the Dagobah system to go fucking fight. And we were like, dude, you're not ready. You didn't complete your training, and you're going and you go. And I kept saying to myself, you need a stronger saber. For some reason, I didn't even know green was supposed to happen. I just knew that he needs something. He needed to be stronger all around. And what happened when in three, when he in episode 6, when he went over to fucking Darth Vader, turned himself in. The duel itself, red and green, how beautiful it was splashed against the silver screen, and every time they clashed, it ignited, and this shit was like a fucking beautiful ballet. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
see, it reminds me of um, a few lines in Attack of the Clones. All right. Um, Anakin has had his lightsaber destroyed, right? And Obi-Wan looks at him and hands him another lightsaber and goes, do not lose. This is your life. Talking about the lightsaber.
Yep.
It's that close of a symbiote bond,
Yeah.
Jedi to lightsaber. I mean, they are useless without their lightsabers.
That's right.
I won't say useless, but they rely on their lightsabers so much, except for a few Jedi characters, like you had Yodel, that almost refused to ever draw their lightsaber.
Right.
But that was a rarity,
Yeah. And when the things that people have to understand about the prequels is this. Yeah, it had its love story. Yeah, it dragged along. But we all know, if you're really, really a Star Wars head, you know that it was all about how the lightsaber combat used to be.
See, I watched that interview with George Lucas on
Right.
the difference between episodes 4, 5, and 6, lightsaber combat, and then episodes 1, 2, and 3, right? And he was talking about Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back first fighting Vader, right? He's like, he's inexperienced, he's waving around like a fool, and then he's like, and then you get Return the Jedi, and you see that he's really advanced and he's much more balanced, but he's been pretty much the only person to train himself, in lightsaber combat. That's why he has such like wide strokes, like matching Vader with such wide strokes. And then he says, now you go to the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3. He's like, you've got experienced Jedi, that do this for a living every single day. So the fights have to be more fast paced. They have to be amazing because, these people are using force like you've never seen before.
It was logical you had to get a man like Ray Park to open it up with Darth Maul's saber stylings. And it was logical you had to get a man like Nick Gillard to choreograph all those martial arts saber style into the fights.
That's right.
And then I won't even talk about Disney bull crap, as far as because
we went back to lightsaber patty cake.
Yeah.
only it was worse than Vader versus Kenobi in episode 4. It was, I don't know what that shit was between Kylo and Rey in The Force Awakens.
Well, I'll say this much. If the rumor's true that I heard today, dude, I am never, ever thinking about Disney Star Wars ever again. The fact that the force bond that Rey and Kylo Ren have together, through that force bond, she passes him a lightsaber through time and space.
I saw that. That's ugh.
They totally fucked up listen, the lightsaber basically is a magnet to the midi-chlorians. Let truth be shown right now with the scene that's going to actually just show everything I'm saying. The Hoth system, Luke Skywalker, upside down, right? He concentrates. He uses the force, manipulates the midi-chlorians around, right? He tries it the second time, and what happens? It lands up right in his hands, right? Same thing. Anything that was titanium or metal, it was attracted to the midi-chlorians for some reason were attracted and helped the force users pull it quicker. Same thing with Darth Vader pulling Han Solo's fucking carbon blaster. You know what I mean? It was a science. The midi-chlorians were there for a reason, and they took it out because they didn't understand it.
Well, talking about Disney Star Wars, right? Okay, look at the timeline between A New Hope to Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And Luke's been training the best that Luke can train, right? And on Hoth, dude, he gets his butt handed to him by a damn Wampa.
Yeah.
I mean, a damn Wampa takes Luke Skywalker, hangs him up, and he's about to eat him, right? And then Luke's able to concentrate and get his saber and cut a limb off, right? But look at all that time, and this is all he can do. You see what I'm saying? And he's the son of the chosen one. I mean, come on. And then when he finally meets Yoda, all he's out there doing is doing flips and learning how to use the Force, but he hasn't had enough time with Yoda to really be proficient at anything.
Exactly. And if anybody was going to be any type of Mary Sue at the time, it should have been Luke.
Yes.
But he didn't. But that didn't come to fruition at all because we seen Luke strive and fail.
Yes.
We seen him fail. We seen him full of himself. And even when he went off, Obi-Wan came to Yoda And Yoda told him, "Ready? He is not." And then that's when he said, "No, there is another." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the other was not Ray.
No, no.
Okay, we can solve this. We can solve that riddle right now. The other was Luke Skywalker. It was just the other. What he meant by the other, what Yoda meant by the other, was the prepared Luke, the all in black Master Jedi Luke, the Luke
He
that,
was talking about Leia,
huh?
but he was talking about Leia. If the other he was talking about was Leia, but Leia was untrained, but Leia could be trained. But see, the thing is,
I feel he was talking about Luke when he had already made his Master Jedi rank, because remember there are two. You have a Jedi, then you become a Master Jedi. You know what I mean? And at the time, Luke was just a Jedi, meaning he was just a Jedi, like a private. He was just like a Jedi in training when he met Vader and got his fucking hand cut off, and he tried to break his destiny, and he went with emotion, and then all of a sudden, this is why. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's how I saw. This is how I meant when he said, he's not prepared, he's not ready. But Obi-Wan said, and then he said something where it made me say to myself, okay, he's talking about the more graduated Luke Skywalker.
no, but see, what makes Return the Jedi so amazing while we're on lightsaber talk, right?
Right,
When Luke turns himself over to Vader, right? The only thing that he's armed with is this lightsaber, right?
right.
And when the captain takes him before Vader, he hands Vader Luke's lightsaber. He goes, "This is the only thing he was armed with." And then Vader dismisses the captain, and Vader turns around with Luke's lightsaber in hand and goes, "Indeed, you have become powerful. A new lightsaber you have constructed, I see. The
Yeah,
Emperor was correct."
yeah. He goes. Obi-Wan has taught you well. I
Yes.
see you have constructed a new lightsaber. Impressive,
And
most impressive.
some background info on Luke's lightsaber prop from Jedi. It was actually a lot heavier than most of them, because originally, I'm not going to get into the big story, but we all know they used that special reflective tape in the original, and it didn't work. So we got the amazing effect that we have today.
Yeah,
Right.
the rotoscope shit. Yeah,
Yeah, Luke's original lightsaber was supposed to be Obi-Wan's. It was Obi-Wan's. But it looked a little bit different because it had a big fat motor inside it that spun the blade around.
Yeah.
yeah,
Instead, they just made that prop Luke's lightsaber to where it kind of looked a little bit like Obi-Wan's, but not quite. So that worked out good. That it was it could be Luke's, but it didn't look exactly like Kenobi's. It was just real close.
Yeah, in which they could write the lore around that, which came out amazing because Luke's story was he got 95% of the parts that he needed, for his lightsaber there on Tatooine, in Anchorhead and various places around, Tatooine. He got 95% of the stuff from various places there, and then from Ben's hut. The only thing he couldn't find on Tatooine were the crystals for the lightsaber itself.
Let me ask you guys the most interesting question ever that has never been asked before. Now, when Luke Skywalker would put his and I don't want to sound like a pansexual when I say this, when he would put his lightsaber inside of R2D2, right? Was the lightsaber charging? Ah, ah.
It wouldn't need to charge because he would have already endued both crystals with his force. So the force is the actual charging unit on the lightsaber.
Okay.
So it does not actually need a charge.
Okay, so that's the answer to the question that a lot of people were asking, because me personally, I know that he just put it inside R2D2 that moment, simply because he was setting things up in order to help Han escape from Jabba's palace. you know. And when he ejected, you remember on the barge?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but you know, people have to understand that the lightsaber is the most powerful weapon in Star Wars. You can have a blaster, you know, you can have cannons, you can have ships, you can a lightsaber, you put a lightsaber to anything, and it's going through it. It's going to destroy it. I mean, you can be stuck in a steel room, and you put a lightsaber. It's gonna go like a hot knife through butter.
Dude, okay,
Remember the first time you saw episode 1 and you
that's what I was about to
Qui-Gon
talk about. When
stick
they
that
were on
lightsaber in the
ship.
door?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they were on the ship and the doors closed and they fill it with gas.
Yeah,
And they're like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah,
But then,
Qui-Gon was like, fuck it.
yeah, you see a green blade come through the door and start cutting the door, you know.
yeah. I mean,
That scene was just powerful, dude. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of episode 1. There was a lot of good that came out of it, but the acting was pretty bad, you know, and the special effects haven't, you know, stood up to the test of time. But the story, dude, the story was definitely there.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, look. When I look at the prequels, right? When the prequels came out, I saw them. I liked it. There was even with Jar Jar Binks in the mix, I still liked it. And I even said back then, I said people will not appreciate this until later on. And what happened? What's happening now? People are now appreciating the prequels over this shit.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it took what happened in order for people to appreciate the prequels, because I, for one, was one that I sat down and I waited for this, and when I saw 1, 2, and 3, I was like, holy shit, this is great. This is great. We actually got to see how Darth Vader was made and how he destroyed himself. We actually got to see C-3PO, his origins, R2-D2's origins. I mean, everybody's fucking origin, you know, except of course, you know, we didn't get to see a Han, you know, at the time, because it was way before Han's time.
We did not need to see Han's origins.
No. I'm saying, but by the time it left off to A New Hope, which was, you know, episode number 3, right? After she had the baby, after she had the babies and stuff, you know, after she had the Luke and Leia and stuff. In between that, something should have been made where, you know, you get to know the Carillion, you know, fucking Han Solo, instead of making this Solo bullshit.
You got 20 years in between episode 3 and episode 4, and dude, if we could see amazing things put on film, where like Vader going out and hunting Jedi, you know, and the construction of the Death Star, you know, and the politics that are going on behind the scenes and everything, that would be absolutely amazing. But see, we know now what powers lightsabers, right? But I gotta say, man, Rey's lightsaber, it has to be powered by generations of tuna bots, dude. Every time she ignites that lightsaber, it smells like fish.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, I'm executing order number 9. And executing order number 9 is not going to see that shit. Just like they wanted to execute order 66, right? Execute order number 9. Speaking of order 66, whatever happened to all of those lightsaber hilts that belonged to all those Jedis that were killed? Did they ever collect them?
All right. You want to know something? That's a really good question. Palpatine had everything with the Jedi Temple, Palpatine confiscated, right? And he made a law in the entire universe that no one was allowed to have lightsabers whatsoever, right? Except for very, very privileged, rich people that were extremely loyal to him, but he would sell them off to these people for millions, if not billions, of credits. And the ones that he wouldn't sell off, he would either archive with him or Vader, or just destroy them altogether.
Ah, okay, I see now. All right, I see. Okay, because it's funny on how you know Maz Kanata had fucking Anakin Skywalker's fucking lightsaber hilt. This one right here. Okay, I had to go and take it back. They're most likely gonna come get it, but I had to go get it. Maz, Ray does not have this, neither does fucking Kylo. Okay, I have the real hilt. It's safe, John. It's safe, Maze. But these fucking guys over here are saying that Maz Kanata, how the fuck did she get her hands on it? They still have yet to explain that.
I I don't even want to try to explain it because it's dumber than dumb. Just like it's as bad as the story of Han Solo selling Luke Skywalker's medal for drinking money.
Well, check this shit out. The last time this saber was had a hand held onto it, it was cut off.
Yeah.
And went down the fucking in Cloud City.
Yep.
So did it go down a garbage chute? Because Luke did fall down the same way his fucking hand did, and he wound up going through some type of chute as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So did it go down some type of chute where the fucking hand just I mean they're gonna have to answer that.
Well, see, this is the thing too. Cloud City hung outside of the planet of Bespin. Bespin was below Cloud City.
Right.
And Bespin was not what you think of a habitable world like Earth.
Right.
It was a treacherous place full of environmental nightmares, and if someone was to go down to the planet and search for that lightsaber, they would purposely have to be on that planet looking for that lightsaber.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're, going to be just, out there with a metal detector. Boop, boop,
right.
Right.
Right. It's you know what I think? I think it's more than likely when it fell down, I think it's more than likely Darth Vader sent people to retrieve it. And I think it was Boba Fett that retrieved it and sold it to Maz Kanata because if you look at Maz Kanata's castle, she has Mandalorian flags hanging on the castle. And that's one thing that Maz Kanata always fucked around with was Mandalorians.
Yeah.
So it's more than likely.
Now, I'll have Maze talk about this because I got to give credit to the Mandalorians because their armor was able to withstand lightsaber blast.
Wasn't it made out of Rancor hide or some shit like that?
No, it was made out of a special metal. I can't remember what the metal's called, but it's even if you got struck by electricity with the metal, what it would do instead of just hitting and just going like a ground, like you think electricity, it would just disperse the energy. So if a lightsaber would hit that metal where the lightsaber struck, it would disperse the lightsaber energy instead of being concentrated, where it hits. But it could only take 2 or 3 hits with the lightsaber. After that, lightsaber cut right through it.
Oh yeah. Right.
Like Vader's armor.
Fucking his suit tells a story. Boba Fett's. You know that big bullet dent he has on his helmet?
Yeah.
You know where he got that from?
From what?
Vader had tried to fuck him over, right? Vader had tried to fuck him over. He tried to come for Vader, and he went through a whole shit fucking load, a whole fucking battalion. Boba Fett went through a whole battalion full of fucking stormtroopers, and one of the stormtroopers hit him with a fucking rifle, and that's where he got that fucking dent.
Wow.
While he was trying to get at Vader, and that's when him and Vader made a pact. Right when he got, and he actually dueled with Vader. Like if anyone has ever seen a poster of Boba Fett holding a fucking lightsaber, you know what I mean? That's where he dueled, and I mean he fucking lost, of course. And Vader had mercy on him. Vader let him live simply because Vader said, "You are a commodity. I can use you.
Mhm.
You're going to be the best bounty hunter that I have." And that's when he was like, okay, no doubt. And from there on he became like, and he was Vader's fucking best hitman bounty hunter. You know what I mean? What's going on, Karan Bread? No doubt. What's going on, Karan says. No doubt. But yeah, man. I tell you right now, the lightsaber is the most powerful weapon within the Star Wars galaxy, and me as a Star Wars fan and the shit that's going on now, I'm not gonna bother. It's not what we know. We're talking, and we always will be talking about the real Star Wars and the real characters and the real storylines and everything. You know what I mean? We'll always be talking that. You know, but you know, people have to understand that there are powerful characters within Star Wars. And when I say Star Wars, it's the original George Lucas Star Wars from episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You know what I mean? This other shit, not talking about that. You know? And what I was saying is, when you look at characters like Boba Fett and you look at their armor, and I just told the story of where he got the bullet, the big fucking dent on his helmet from. It tells a story. It's something new. There's always going to be something new within Star Wars. Always, guys, always. Star Wars is something that we all grew up on. I'm 45 years old and I still collect Star Wars. I still read into Star Wars lore. I'm still learning about shit from Star Wars. I don't know every other fucking character, but I'm opening up my mind to the old shit that I didn't know about, because now is the time to know about the foundation than the shit of the recreation. We don't need to know about recreating what. You know what I mean? And what's good about knowledge is, if you're not really full of the knowledge, you can always go back and fill yourself up with that knowledge until you're finished with it. But what's funny is you will never be finished with knowledge, because knowledge is vast. Knowledge, you can continue to learn. We will always continue to learn about the Star Wars lore. And that's what's beautiful about Star Wars. George Lucas gave us something that it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And like I told people on other live streams and stuff like that, like, it's because of George Lucas that people like myself and effect artists, like I can go and create vents and stuff like this out of cardboard. Out of cardboard. I can make dioramas with vents and shit, making them look weathered and stuff like that, and add a little graffiti onto them. I'm able to fucking make big sets and stuff with vents and fans and stuff and light switches and doors that look corroded. I mean, it's because of George Lucas. It's because of George Lucas. It's because of ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, all of those wizards, all of those guys that were within there. Also with the creator giving you the skill. These are things that have taught us. And earlier I had come out destroying this PC culture, because the PC culture was trying to destroy us, right? What we brought up and what we grew up learning, and it's like it's just crazy. It's crazy that they would want to destroy something that they have yet to learn about. You know, and Star Wars is the most valuable thing that people can lay their eyes upon. You know what I mean?
Now, now that I'm back, we'll get back to Star Wars talk in just a second. I want to put an announcement out there. Okay. For anybody watching or anybody that's going to watch the program tonight, okay, or in the future here, if you want to have a meet and greet with Jay Cotto or me, the Star Wars Dad, John, we will be in the greater Orlando area at the end of December. We will actually be there on my birthday, December 22nd. So if y'all want to hit us up and have a meet and greet, if you live anywhere near the Orlando area, hit us up. We'll gladly sit down and have some drinks with you. You know, gladly talk Star Wars with anyone that wants to talk Star Wars. I mean, it's the one thing that I can talk more about, except for maybe God. You know, it drives my wife absolutely nuts. But two, let me run this by everybody. I put this on Twitter, and if everybody thinks it's a good idea, maybe we could actually make it happen. What would everybody think of an actual Phantom Menace or the rebellion, you know, at Universal Studios, holding a convention there just miles away from Disney World, and actually letting Disney World know that we're having a Star Wars convention at Universal Studios?
That sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. I was thinking more of renting something like the Hilton Hall or something like that, and having a nice Star Wars ball.
Yeah. And see, I think like Drunk 3PO lives within the Orlando area too. I mean, we've got a lot of us YouTubers that are here in the Florida area that we can make things happen if the fans and everybody else want to get together and actually do something.
That sounds okay. Yeah, shit. Yeah, we'll put things in motion, definitely. But
And
this
see, if we got a ballroom, I look at it like this. It could be just like coming into Windows work conventions where everybody's got a booth set up, you know. Hey, this is Jay Cotto. This is the Star Wars Dad. This is Stephanie Janicek. This is so and so. You know, just a big, huge meet and greet, and everybody broadcasting together and just having a good time.
yeah, that would be fucking awesome. Hell yeah, hell yeah. But this December, we'll definitely have we'll have this meet and greet, man. Me and John will be there if you guys want to catch up and go through Universal Studios with us and get on the rides and bug out and shit. And you're more than hell. You
And I'm going to tell you guys,
we'll talk Star Wars, we'll talk some shit. You know?
we're going to be doing some streaming from the park itself too.
That's right. We'll
And
be live streaming.
something I definitely going to let everybody see is my wife will be holding the phone as Jay and I get on the Hulk. So that and Doctor Doom Terror, where it just drops you, you know. So it's going to be a great time. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it is. And everyone will be able to see Darth Cody again. So
Oh yeah, definitely, man. We're gonna have some fun over at the park, man. And you know, it'll be cool, man. Shit, I know I'm bringing a lightsaber. Fuck that.
exactly.
I'm bringing a lightsaber.
See, they don't care if you LARP, you know, in Universal Studios. You can walk around however you want.
That's right. I'm bringing a lightsaber.
I mean, so yeah, it's going to be amazing fun. And I'll tell everybody this once too. If you come down to Orlando, you have to check out the McDonald's on iDrive. Have you been in there, Jay?
No.
You haven't been to the McDonald's on iDrive. You okay? After we finish with the park, we're going to go to the McDonald's on iDrive. It's
Okay.
not just for the food. It is the craziest McDonald's I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
What the hell does that have? Like a fucking amusement park in the back?
Well, it's got a 2-story game room.
Okay.
Okay. You can order pretty much any type of food that you want. They've got regular McDonald's food. You can get pizza. You can get Chinese food. You can get
Wow.
Italian food.
I'll get a fucking I'll get a McNish.
Yeah. Then
A fucking Knish.
they've got a stage where they've got a dancing bear and a dancing moon that are on the stage that play instruments and everything too, kind of like Shoney's. I mean, it's a treat just to see, that McDonald's. So
Yeah. Fuck that. I'm gonna order a McNish. That's a McDonald's Knish.
but I will say, when my senior year of high school for grad night, right?
Yeah.
The They take you down to Universal. I mean, to Orlando. First place you go is SeaWorld, right? And I will never forget it because they had these two whales in a tank having sex. Right?
I knew I knew it was getting to that. I was gonna say two whales fucking.
But the thing is, dude, this whale had a penis that was like 40 foot long, right?
What the fuck?
And it was like this bright pink, like massive, whatever the hell dude, I was scarred for the rest of my life from this thing, dude.
Dude, how the fuck did we go from lightsabers to whale cock? What the fuck?
Well, the bright pink.
What? He got a bright pink amberfist fucking kyber crystal. That's yes, James. That's something we should show Kathleen Kennedy. Definitely.
She could take it all, dude.
Oh shit, that's funny, man. Man, we went from kyber crystals to fucking whale cocks to showing fucking Kathleen Kennedy whale cocks. Yeah, yeah. This is a Star Wars Dad and Jay Windu stream. Yeah,
We
definitely.
always have fun. That's just the thing, guys. We always have fun.
Oh
If we
yeah,
take it too seriously, there's something wrong.
oh yeah, definitely. James says the whale was Kathleen Kennedy. Woo! Oh man, that's some funny shit, bro.
But
Yeah,
my
man.
lightsaber, so I have to give credit where credit's due, though. The Force Awakens. There was that scene where Kylo Ren was chasing Rey, right? And she turned and his lightsaber blade was right over her shoulder. Remember that?
Yeah,
The detail that went into the crackling of the blade, and you could almost see like heat coming off the blade. I
yeah,
gotta say that was pretty cool. You know, they paid very close attention to Kylo Ren's blade. That might have been like one of the only cool things in that movie, but they did that right. But then I saw how that lightsaber was constructed, and I was like, no, because he had a big fat crystal in there, like, and it was supposed to be a
yeah.
fiber crystal. There was no focusing crystal, and I was like, this thing would never work. I mean,
No, yeah, no.
it would not be a functioning lightsaber.
No, that shit would explode. That shit. I was every time that shit ignited, I would be like, oh shit, because I thought it was gonna blow up in his hand. It should like, I was like, first of all, Kylo, you need to throw that shit away. You need to throw that shit way the fuck away. I mean, that shit. I'm surprised that shit it didn't get to a point where it put a hole in his hand.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this too. He was training with Luke for however long that they were training, right? Don't you think he would have constructed what I call a real lightsaber?
Thank you. Thank you. I think Luke Skywalker would have taught him a little much better than that.
Yeah. I mean, he would have constructed what I call a real lightsaber, not, this ancient design that is afraid to turn the damn thing on. And if he, turned evil, all he would have to do is replace the damn crystal in it.
Right.
I mean, it's like, come on. You know, I complained about The Force Awakens. I was one of the few people that actually complained about it when it first came out. And I was like, oh God, they're ruining Star Wars. And then I really complained with The Last Jedi. But now that in hindsight, dude, I can poke holes in everything that is what I call Disney Star Wars. I mean, not just little things, but all the entire storylines. I can just poke holes through everything. Like, nope, that wouldn't happen. Nope, doesn't make sense. Nope, can't happen. Nope.
There's so many things wrong with their fucking Star. Like I said, not one fucking limb was severed. Now I will say this: the only thing I like about The Force Awakens and the last piece of shit is the creature design of Maz Kanata. I like the way she looks. I'm actually looking for that figure. That's the only fucking creature design that I like out of that whole fucking piece of shit series. And I'm gonna go as far as to say this as well. She's gonna continue to be my favorite creature design, even with episode number fucking 9 as well. You know what I mean?
I was not a fan of Maz Kanata whatsoever.
I like the way she looks. She looks pretty cool.
I'm back, guys.
Hey, what's up, brother?
I threw in something before I got that damn phone call. This is backtracking a bit. Remember how episode 1, everybody kind of, well, not everybody, like a lot of people thought it was weird because it played out weird. It was plot exposition.
Right.
I trusted The Force Awakens for the same damn reason.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that in there.
I mean,
but episode 1 didn't lead you astray like The Force Awakens did it?
Nope.
No, and it ended with a lightsaber battle that left you with a charge when you left the theater.
Yep. Plus, dude, you can never go wrong with Liam Neeson, man.
Never. I will find you and I will kill you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, dude.
That's fucking Sean Connery's son, bro. That's how much swag that motherfucker got.
Yeah, I mean, he made the perfect Qui-Gon. He's, in my opinion, the only thing that saved episode 1 besides the lightsaber duel at the end of the movie. You know?
Yeah.
He made that damn movie. God, he was good in that. And
when he died, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then when fucking when Obi-Wan see, this is why he kept telling Luke and especially Anakin, don't tap into the dark side. He never wanted to say that he was there before because that's how he defeated Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with hate. Like he fought Darth Maul with hate. Like he was a dark side at that time. You know what I mean?
I was like expecting Yoda to chew his ass for that too.
Yeah. Well, Qui-Gon, in my opinion, would have beat Maul if he was 20 years younger. But Qui-Gon was like in his 60s during this time, and Maul just wore him out. Qui-Gon was able to match him stroke for stroke, but Maul just wore him out. And
he was basically like Obi-Wan when he met Darth Vader. He only had enough for defense.
Yeah.
that was one thing, two things that I loved about that final fight between Obi-Wan and Maul in Rebels. One of those few little things about Rebels I liked. First, Obi-Wan did the stance that he did with Grievous, where he was sort of pointing his hand at him, but then he went into Qui-Gon's stance from the Phantom Menace. And then Maul came at him. It was 3 moves. Maul tried to bash him in the face with his hilt like he did with Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan wasn't having none of that shit. He sliced right down, sliced right through Maul's saber and split his chest open.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? The only bad guy and like the only character, should I say, to do lightsabers and wasn't a fucking Sith or a Jedi was fucking General Grievous. Think about it.
Well, see,
I think so. There was also that robot in Shadows of the Empire, which I think Grievous was kind of loosely based off of. Remember the one that tries to beat Luke?
Yes.
And she gets cut up?
Yes. Damn, what the fuck is the name? Fuck, damn, Maze, you brought it back, bro. Ah, shit.
well, see, even Grievous though said that Dooku trained him in lightsaber combat though.
He what? I'm sorry, John?
I said Grievous even said that Dooku had trained himself in lightsaber combat.
Yeah.
And Grievous didn't have the restrictions of flesh. He could twist and turn those lightsabers any which way he wanted, much faster than any human or natural, humanoid could actually do,
Yep. But he was very subservient to fucking to Dooku. He was scared to death of Dooku. See, he knew Dooku would destroy him, even though he was able to wield fucking 6 blades because he was able to use his legs as well.
Yeah.
So he could fucking duel 6 blades at the same time if he wanted to.
Did you read the book on the Clone Wars on how Obi-Wan actually beat Grievous in the lightsaber battle?
No. Please educate me.
Kenobi
or us
basically did like Qui-Gon.
Right.
He had turned himself 100% completely over to the Force. And he had lost all sense of who he was. He was basically just the Force when he was fighting General Grievous. And the only person that in novels that they said that was as fast as his lightsaber strikes was Luke Skywalker, when it looked like Luke Skywalker was 100 of them as fast as, he was striking with his lightsabers. That's EU books. But this is actual canon, that Obi-Wan turned himself over to the Force, and he was able to take him down easily as just a subservient of the Force. And when you think about that, the Force is always going to overtake someone that is not Force sensitive.
Right.
Just like Dirge.
Yeah.
Remember, Dirge was one of the fiercest foes that Obi-Wan ever faced. And it was, I think that's how the Clone Wars micro series, the cartoon one, opened up.
Yeah.
Dirge was, I don't know if Jay remembers this one, so I'll go through it real quick. Dirge was a 4,000-year-old bounty hunter.
Right.
Anybody that lived that long that was a bounty hunter, they seen some shit.
Oh, yeah.
And so Dirge, he's just like this. He had a lot of armor on, and he was just this massive muscle. You could chop him up, and he would just heal and weave himself back together.
Damn.
Eventually, what happened was Obi-Wan somehow, like he surrounded Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan lured him in.
Right.
And he surrounded him with all his muscle mass, and Obi-Wan just used the Force and blew him up.
Yep.
Liquefied him.
Yep.
Wow. See, man, Obi-Wan was very fucking powerful. And this is what I'm scared of. Like, for Disney to fuck up the same way they did with Luke Skywalker, and that show us exactly what what he was doing all these years and how he was extended with the Force and one with the Force. The same way Obi-Wan was, because Obi-Wan is a bad motherfucker, man.
Well, see,
He was
Obi-Wan became powerful, but no one wanted to actually take Obi-Wan on as an apprentice.
Right.
No one wanted him. Obi-Wan was in fear of having to go off and be a farmer, or the Jedi Academy people that go off that don't become Jedi Knights. And Qui-Gon took pity on him and trained him. And the only reason Obi-Wan became such a great Jedi is he trained 10 times harder than everybody else that was around him to prove a point.
Yeah. And I'm just scared that when they make his movie or whatever, they're gonna miss out on a lot of things. Obi-Wan is to be treasured. Like, even at the stage of Alex Guinness, I mean, this is the Obi-Wan that we first knew.
Yeah.
And then later on we got to know him, with Ewan McGregor and shit, which was great. I mean, he was a fucking awesome as well. It's just I'm just scared that they're gonna they're gonna agenda this shit out, and I don't want them to do that. I want them to keep it pure. Can we please keep fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi and all of the old school guys? If you're going to be able to use them, can we keep it pure?
They haven't verified yet when Kenobi takes place, have they?
No.
See, I want to know. I want to see on screen what he does to become a master.
Right.
I really like that Lucas added that into the prequels. That he wasn't just a Jedi Knight. He made the rank of master.
Yeah.
Yep. And a general. And he's a general. He's a general. General Kenobi.
Well, who I would love to see more on screen is like Plo Koon.
The dude with the mask.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the species.
But Plo Koon is one of the few Jedis that actually use Force lightning as a Jedi. Now, it's not true Force lightning. It's called, what is it? Something judgment, but it's not deadly like Force lightning. It can zap you, of course, but it's not going to kill you. But it's not the same coloration as Force lightning either. I think it's pure white when Plo Koon used it.
Wikipedia calls it electric judgment.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Plo Koon was the fucking alien looking Jedi, right?
Yeah, and he wore the mask.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love his fucking character design. I want to, man. They have not made one out of Black Series or the SH Figure Arts yet. I need a Plo Koon. I love that fucking Jedi, man, and he fucking wields a yellow blade, dude.
This was why I didn't mind at first, before The Last Jedi was released. This idea that Luke would go rogue. I've mentioned this analogy before, like Akuma from Street Fighter. Maybe not as crazy,
yeah,
but like Luke would start developing new tactics and techniques, like a paladin in World of Warcraft, like an ability like Righteous Fury, that type of stuff, where it would get into maybe a gray area, but it wouldn't cross the line too bad.
Right. Well, hell, when you read the EU books, Luke always teetered on the dark side, but it would never cross a line, But
except in Dark Empire, where he willingly went over because he wanted to see what his father knew.
Yeah. Well. I mean, look who he had as teachers. He had Obi-Wan Kenobi first, teaching him conscience, how to his judgment and shit, and then in the physical and taking care of the rest and filling his cup was fucking Yoda.
Yeah, it went backwards from how it went in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
you had Yoda teaching the younglings first. Instead, you got Luke doing orientation with Obi-Wan, and then Yoda's like, "Okay, I got this."
Right. Right. You know, Luke Skywalker is a bad motherfucker, man, and I refuse to look at him under the light of the last piece of shit. Okay, that Ryan Johnson, that is not Luke Skywalker. And even though he sold out and he said it himself, that's not Luke, that's Jake Skywalker. It's completely true. Now, I'm working on a project where I'm gonna make a whole diorama fucking movie set, and I'm going to attempt to make episode 8, okay, out of figures. All right, I'm gonna make episode 8 and 9 the way it should have went, and I'm gonna show like Luke Skywalker powers and stuff like that. I've already written the script. I'm just saving money to get more of the figures. The production will go like after Christmas, like in January. I'll start filming,
Dude,
but it's gonna be fucking awesome. It's gonna be done with Black Series figures and fucking and it's gonna be like comic book. It's not gonna be any type of how do you say stop motion and shit like that. It's not gonna it's gonna be like a comic book with voices and shit like that. It's gonna entertain, trust me. If you want a little taste of it, go into my playlist later and check out Thanos versus Skywalker.
Yeah, you gotta do a still scene with Luke Skywalker force choking Rose Tico, dude.
Dude, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ryan Johnson turned Luke into a boring ass space wizard at the end of 8, and then you think about, and that makes me think back to the end of Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship, like where Gandalf got cheaply knocked off by the Balrog. You're like, that's it. That's all I get to see of that guy's powers. Then boom, second movie starts, and the first thing you get to see is him being a badass, and then you get to see more of him being a badass when he recounts it later.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me of I went and saw the first Hobbit movie, right? And I was all excited at the end of the movie. You know, that bird knocks on the mountain and the dragon opens his eyes and then the movie ends. I was so pissed, dude. All I wanted to do was see fucking Smaug.
Peter Jackson was good with those cliffhangers.
I was pissed. All I wanted to do was freaking see Smaug. Now, I got to say, the second Hobbit movie, in my opinion, was phenomenal when they were under the mountain and the interaction between Bilbo and Smaug. That was that was incredible, you know. But everything leading up to that, before that, dude, it was crap.
What about the fight with Galadriel and Sauron and Saruman and Gandalf? That wasn't in the books, but I think it was in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And
yeah, that what I call the fight of the immortals, you know, where they fought the Nazgul.
Do you require assistance, my lady?
Yeah, I mean that, and then you had
Elrond whips out that sword.
yeah, and Radagast showed up. You know,
this bunny sled.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean,
It was awesome because it was Sylvester McCoy.
yeah,
I'm an old Doctor Who fan.
but something I always wondered why we haven't seen them in any of the Lord of the Ring movies. So the two blue wizards.
I love Lord of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I love that shit, and even the ones that they made after it, that was supposed to be before it or whatever. It was The Hobbit, was it right? It was fucking great. I love those. I love it was fucking awesome. And
you ever see the behind the scenes shit with that trilogy, Jay? Man, the whole reason that movie series was so successful is because Peter Jackson got the whole production of that thing the fuck away from Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what you have to do. So if you wanted to, it's just like, look, it's just like I was saying the other day, fellas, right? George Lucas is kicking himself in the ass now because he sold out. He sold out. He sold his baby, and but he did the best he could. He kept his baby away from Hollywood. That's why it was so successful. He didn't allow the machine to throw any type of kinks in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did the best he could until he gave in. 4.1. It took $4.1 billion.
Well, I wish it was all cash for George Lucas, but unfortunately, 40% of what he got was Disney stock.
No, he cashed out already. He's not stupid. After you don't think he fucking cashed out after the shit that just went on a couple of weeks ago? Hell yeah, he's not dumb.
I was under the impression he cashed out in 2012, but I'm not as on the up with this knowledge as you guys are.
I'm and when if he cashed out or not, I have no clue. But
You know who'll know? Fucking Craig. Craig will know. Craig will know. We have to ask Craig.
yeah, I mean, I have no clue if he cashed out or not. I can't confirm or deny what he's done with his Disney stock. So
Let me tell you something. If let's just say for some miraculous reason, and God was to ever bless me with like a fucking $30 billion, right?
mhm,
Out of some lottery, right? Let's just say, right? Because that's the only way that shit would happen. I would go to Disney and say, here's $10 billion for the Star Wars franchise. That's double what they paid.
right,
And then you know what I would do? I would hire every fucking body that is a Star Wars fanatic that is into visual arts, conceptual arts, fucking writing, sculptors, anything that has to do with Star Wars. Each and everything that has to do with Star. This is how you keep the franchise.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, and then I would create a union. A fucking Star Wars union for the workers, for guys who, I'm telling you, man, it's like you have to care for something like this, man. Do you know the power Disney had with Star Wars, man?
Well, hell, look at YouTube and then do a search for like Star Wars fan films, right? What people do and the stories they write and what they produce for YouTube is 20 times better than anything I've seen come.
Oh yeah, Troops by Kevin Rubio, 1999, I think, or 2000. That was only the beginning.
Yeah,
George Lucas voted that one the very first best fan film in a contest that Lucasfilm used to have, encouraging fan films.
yes. And I can't remember which one it was that I watched because there's a ton of them out there now, right?
Pink 5 was pretty damn funny too. Lucas voted that one the best the next year.
But you had the Padawan and Master out there, and he's teaching her about how to use a lightsaber, and she's using a stick instead of a lightsaber. And she's getting impatient, and she's still there, out in the middle of the country, and he's asleep, and she steals his lightsaber, and she goes to a cave, and she's playing with a lightsaber, his lightsaber, right? And something happens, and the lightsaber hits her in the eyes and blinds her. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the story goes from there to 20 years later, and you assume it's like 3 Sith or 3 Dark Jedi because 3 masked assassins jump out of the shadows, with red lightsabers. And she goes back to thought about the day that she lost her sight by being ill prepared in her impatience, and you see her take a rag and just slowly start opening this double-bladed lightsaber out of this rag, right? And right before these assassins are about to strike her down, you see both blades just shoot out green.
Nice.
And she's blinded, and she's swirling around just as blind, using the Force.
I remember this. I remember this now.
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh, that was a recent one.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And it was only like 8-9 minutes long, but dude, it was awesome.
If somebody ever wanted to do a fan film, I'd help write for it. But
I've got a comedy idea for a fan film. It would be a little short. My idea is you've got Vader and he's got to use the toilet, right?
I was just gonna say that with fucking Boba Fett.
And he goes into the bathroom and he drops trowel and sits on the toilet, and he looks down, and there's no toilet paper, right? So he reaches out with the force to other stalls to get toilet paper, and they're all out, right? There's no toilet paper to be found. And then you get his no, right? And then all the sinks in the bathroom start exploding with water.
Oh man. Oh man.
Have
Yo,
you seen the Robot Chicken one where he's on the toilet?
no.
There is one. It's right after he becomes Vader. You know, like right after Palpatine rebuilds him. He's like fucking with the buttons on his suit, and his helmet pops off and shit, and he starts standing up, and roller skates pop out of his like boots and shit, and he starts like tripping, and he falls on his ass, and he gets his arm stuck in the toilet, and Palpatine's like,
Vader.
Palpatine's like, how does the old saying go? Choose your apprentice in haste, or in leisure, regretted in haste, or something like that.
Fuck is it crazy, bro?
And he's like, no, and then he's pressing the buttons, and his voice is modulating, no, no, no.
That's awesome.
I was
Yeah.
going to say earlier when you were talking about the different types of lightsabers in Star Wars: The Old Republic. I have a consular who is also a Jedi Shadow. It's the light side version of Darth Maul.
Right.
He has a double-bladed saber. It's blue with the black core in the blade. And in the middle of the blade, the chamber is open, and you can see the crystal like buzzing with electricity or whatever the power is. It's really cool, the ideas they've come up with in these games. And on that note, are we still paying attention to Fallen Order? I don't know that I want to pay a premium for it. It's going to be $60 when it comes out, but I mean, I'm still attracted to the fact that it's got a male lead, and as far as I know, it's probably going to be a much better story than like say Kanan and Jarrus.
You mean Maze? You mean this guy here?
Is that him?
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, see, one thing I'm not liking so far about Fallen Order, though, it's linear.
Yeah, it's not going to be very exploratory.
Yeah. I was hoping to have something sandboxish where you can explore and get in. You would still have your main quest and side quests and everything. I was hoping for much more of a sandbox, but this is going to be like the Force Unleashed. It's going to be very, very linear. It's going to be story driven from point A to point B to point C. There's going to be
no character customization. No, you know what I mean? You can't make your own fucking Jedi. I want to make myself. I want to make Jay Windu, god damn it. Jay Window. Jay Window.
I was one of those people that played Star Wars Galaxies. And that was the best Star Wars game ever until they tinkered with it and changed it. When they changed it, it became shit.
You know what? A lot of that stuff is very reminiscent of kind of what happened to the movie saga, but without getting into those details, we could do a whole stream on that one, John. We should.
Yes.
But, the NGE in 2005 and how the game just died after that. But I was a creature handler and a master rifleman. I love going to Dathomir, tame me some Rancors, come back and kick butt with them.
See, I was a medic, and
sweet.
But my brother was playing, and my brother was getting off. He was canceling his subscription, and so he gifted me a hammerhead. And what was really great about that spaceship playing the game, you could not fly that ship yourself. You would have to have like 30, 40 other people, player characters aboard that ship.
And a good internet connection, especially with that Nova courier. Do you remember that?
You guys are talking about Ethernet cards and all that shit back in the days, kid.
Yeah, they had
dial-up.
You could fly in the Millennium Falcon with multiplayers and two turret gunners and a pilot, and when you did that, your internet lagged bad, but it was fun. My son and we would do the Y-wing because the Y-wing had a turret gunner. And just even that was fun as hell. The jump to light speed expansion.
Yeah, and dude, space battles were insane. If you had large ships and you had multiple people on there, dude, you'd be just tearing it up. You know, you'd be shooting asteroids, and especially like I said, I had a hammerhead that I owned, and there was like just 30 gunners that would board the ship, right? 30 people's on guns, and you would just be tearing shit up with it, just you know. I mean, it was.
You guys ever play fucking Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah, a long time ago. I
Yeah.
have it on my
Or-
Steam list. I'm gonna play it again sooner or later.
That shit is awesome, man. That was a good fucking game.
Now, a good game to me, if you haven't played it, it's older, but Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go around with the fucking lightsaber marking up the fucking hallways and shit like that. That shit was fun.
That, and you start learning your force powers. You know, I mean that was a damn good game for its day.
You ever play Jedi Knight 2 or Dark Forces 2 of Jedi Knight and beat the game on the dark side? That was a dark ending for Kyle Katarn. He becomes the Emperor, basically. Yeah. God. And you when you take that path, the game immediately makes you feel bad about it because you know how he had that female assistant that flew with him?
Yeah.
Like the first thing he does is kill her.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded, too.
Dude, Star Wars, the Old Republic, some of their cutscenes is what I want to see in a Star Wars movie, dude. I mean, their cutscenes are better than what we see produced by Disney altogether, man.
The Old Republic online game, which
Yeah.
I've got running right now because the new expansion came out this week.
It did come out this week.
Yep, Darth Malgus is back, baby, and he is pissed off. Now that Valkorian's been defeated, they've got to have a new bad guy that's competent enough to run the Sith Empire. And the planet, dude, I'm going to put some screenshots up on my Twitter. The planet Onderon has finally been realized in video game form, and it is beautiful. It's Egyptian-inspired. You look kind of up to the right as you're coming out of the main temple in the main city, and you can see its moon ducks, and it like takes up the whole sky.
I'm finally going to have to get back on because I had beat all the expansions. And I was waiting for the new.
The level cap's been raised to at least 75. I don't know if it's going to go any further than that, but yeah, James, that was a fun game. Masters of Terrakazi. That was like a Street Fighter, but with Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was for the PS1.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, fucking Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, fucking you fucking blocking. I was like, no, that's supposed to sever a limb. And it was all blocky and shit, but it was cool though.
What was fun was Masters of Terrakazi. The Terrakazi artist became a combat profession in Star Wars Galaxies. If you mastered that profession, you could heal yourself on the battlefield when you were out of combat, and you could get like medic buffs and just beat the shit out of Rancors with your bare hands, basically.
Yep. Dude, as a medic, you know, in Star Wars Galaxies, the pretty much what you did as a medic, all you did was grind. You would go around and just grind and make medical packs for everybody else. Now you get rich as hell because you would just get all these components and keep making medical packs and sell them. I mean, you were pretty much, you know, they had a merchant class in Galaxies, right?
Right.
But dude, the medic just made so much money. But once you hit level, what was it, 40, when either Darth Vader or Yoda would come looking for you and ask you to become a Jedi.
It was just an old man, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's been forever since I played. But this is what's so cool about it, Jay. Once you became a Jedi in the game, they would send assassins out after you.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. When you became a Jedi, first you had no force powers. You didn't have shit.
Yes.
So you just basically swing a lightsaber against shit, and it took a long time to build up experience, longer than any regular profession in the game. And it didn't matter where you were, if you were on Endor, if you were in the wilderness of Tatooine, if somebody rode by you like on a swoop and they saw your lightsaber out, that automatically increased your visibility on the player bounty hunter terminals.
Yep.
And the bounty hunters.
What game?
Star Wars Galaxies. The bounty hunter.
Is it still on? Is it up still?
It's up in the form of an emulator.
Okay.
I still play it. It's free. You just got to get a copy of the game from eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bounty hunters, they would track your ass down and they would kill you and you would lose. At first it was permadeath, but eventually you started losing like a whole skill box that might have taken you 2 weeks to earn.
Damn.
And that was how you do it. But like man, I was gonna say,
and then as you raise level in Jedi, you would have stronger and stronger bounty hunters come after you, man.
yes. The more powerful you got, the more visible you got.
Yeah.
I think they were going to make it to where Vader himself came after you eventually. Like it was going to be a game dynamic, but they never went that far with it. Well, they fucked the game up. What they did was they made the game so anybody could start off as a Jedi, and Jedi just became valueless. It had value.
That's the change I was talking about, because it was PC based only to begin with, right? And it was phenomenal. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. But then they turn around and they put it on the PlayStation and the Xbox, where everybody could play. And then they changed it where you can start as a Jedi now, or as a Sith, or you could be, a smuggler or this or that. And it totally changed the game.
And every profession in the game, the crafters and the combat professions, the armor smiths, the weaponsmiths, the tailors, the entertainers, it all supported each other in the game. There were 250,000 people subscribed, and when they messed it up, man, that 250,000 people leaving destroyed the game.
I mean, it was done. I mean, it's one of the quickest tankings of a paid subscription game I've ever seen, dude. People left droves.
It was very unique. It was designed originally by a company called Varant.
Yeah.
And when they changed, they tried to turn it into World of Warcraft is what they did. They saw those 12 million worldwide subs that Blizzard had, and I'm like, you're not going to make this game into World of Warcraft. You better just be happy with what you've got. Yeah. And it was probably the one big mistake LucasArts made with Sony, because they were both running the game at the time. But I was going to say LucasArts, man, they gave us 2 games a year at least until Disney shut them down.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah, man. I remember LucasArts, man. They released great games, man. Especially the one where you were a fucking trooper. You were a fucking a clone trooper, I think it was, and I forgot the name of it, man. And you can go third-person perspective or first-person perspective, and you were shooting and shit, and this shit was awesome.
Hold on, Jay. I got the name of that game right here on my Steam list. Republic Commando?
Yes. That shit was fucking great.
Yes, it was.
I used to go third-person perspective on that, man. That shit was fucking crazy. You set up detonators and shit like that. That shit was great, man.
I mean, you saw the concept art and the production shots for 1313, didn't you?
Yeah, man.
That was going to be a Boba Fett game.
That was canceled, though. I can't believe that got canceled.
They canceled 5 major titles since 2012. Disney's bullshit canceled 5 major. There was no reason to get rid of LucasArts. That was the stupidest damn thing they ever did. But now who's going to handle it? EA and whoever we want to sell the license to. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Disney, what was the other game? Oh, the Darth Maul game. There was a Darth Maul game in development.
That one looked badass. Beautiful. Did you see how he was swinging a saber and everything in that? Dude, that looked badass.
It did. There was
it's like that song from Tiffany. Could have been so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, hell, even we can go way back and do like TIE versus X-Wing. Dude, it's still a fun game.
Yes. Rebel, what was the other one? Oh,
Rebel Assault.
Yeah. There was a third one though that it was called I'm looking for it. Rogue Squadron 3D.
Oh, that shit was awesome.
Yes.
That shit was not gonna be happy when you fly in the Falcon. Luke has to fly the Falcon at a point.
Yeah. But I it's all about that cash grab right now, though. That's because
I didn't mind Battlefront. It has some good art in it, but god damn it, it can't just be the only game that we get.
I got the original Battlefront, and I got to say, it was okay. I enjoyed it. I wasn't very good at it, but I enjoyed it, right? But I did not get Battlefront 2 but something that's drawn me to maybe getting Battlefront 2 though is the VR for my PlayStation.
Yeah. Battlefront 1, there is a complimentary VR mission.
Yeah.
John, if you haven't downloaded it, you need to.
Is it really good?
Yeah, it's from Rogue One. I know you don't like Rogue One, but you're protecting the U-wing ship. It's a single mission. It's total VR, and when you see it, you're going to be like, why in the hell did they not do this as a full game? You're going to be in the cockpit of an X-wing, solo attacking a Star Destroyer on your own.
Oh,
in
wow.
full 3D. You're going to look up and see the whole cockpit glass and the whole, like, the instrumentation all around you. And yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like it. And of course, you know, EA just made that one single mission. It's a proof of concept. You got to download Battlefront 1 and then you download the mission. Just look for it on the PSN. Yeah,
that's crazy.
If you just look at what we got, you know, there's that Galaxy of Heroes. That's boring. I don't
that
like
shit is fucking retarded.
I don't like Android games that much. I just wasn't raised on them.
Well, there was one. It was called something Arena, the Force Arena, something like that. That shit was pretty cool because it was like chess, and you sent out, you know, the heroes and shit like that. Like you send them out on the field. You know, you would make your troopers and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. Then all of a sudden they discontinued the fucking game, and I was like, what the heck?
There's Galactic Battlegrounds. This is a LucasArts game. No, that's the one where you build up resources. It's like Age of Empires.
Yeah.
You build up resources and you click and drag your armies into a real-time fight. But what did we get after, besides Battlefront? We got Lego The Force Awakens, which I played. There was nothing else out there.
Well, we got Lego The Force Awakens, and then they just released Lego all 8 movies.
Right. I know they're going to release the freaking Lego Last Jedi with a compilation soon, and that I have absolutely no interest in. They're going to release it as a compilation because they know very few people are going to buy Lego The Last Jedi.
You should just get Lego Endgame. Fuck it.
Lego, delete that shit from my hard drive. And yeah, that's all we got. We got Battlefront 1 and 2, which I consider the same game. They're just changed up a little bit. Battlefront 2 is it's got the story that you can play, the solo story. But they took some things away from Battlefront 1, like the VR thing, and they took away the Death Star trench run, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Battlefront's just the same shit though, over and over again. Eventually you get tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing the same maps over and over and over. I mean, and
you're playing against 12-year-olds who have reflexes that are 10 times faster than you.
Yeah, it's like that shit is like fucking playing. Remember fucking back in the days, the first Sony SOCOM?
Yes.
That's all that shit is. It's just playing that shit. You know, you pick your boards over and over again. You got your little fucking little containers and shit that you buy with guns and thermonuclear detonators and shit. And it's just fucking, I'm tired of that shit. I want a game.
I played Battlefront on my PS4 on the TV, right? And I had put that red dot, you know, where in the TV where you shoot. Dude, it didn't matter. You know, these 12-year-olds would just kill me faster. As soon as I spawned, pow, I'm dead again. Pow.
Or you're just coming around the corner and their name is stupid too. Like some of the Hall of Fame names, like Dude's Butts killed you. And you're looking over the horizon. You're like, that guy's behind a rock face. How the fuck did he fire through the wall?
Exactly.
Yeah, like look, I want them to make a Star Wars game the same way they make this new Avengers game that's coming out. That shit looks badass. I'm copping that. They need to make a Star Wars game based off the prequels and the sequels. They have to make these games where they're able to do this shit now. I want to be able to be Luke Skywalker and swing the fucking saber and be able to do shit within The Empire Strikes Back. Within, I want to be able to do all that shit. I want to be able to go to Cloud City. I don't want these fucking first person, third person shooters where you go around a map and it's only internet access fucking driven and you're fucking going around shooting and you're just shooting each other. You're killing each other. I want fucking mission based games where it looks good. The graphics are polished. You go and you buy add-ons that you can use on the game that are fucking useful.
What's
you
that
get
arcade
all
game?
of that with the Old Republic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You start as a Padawan on the Jedi side, or you start at the Jedi Academy. You build your own lightsaber. You rise with Force powers, and you rise through the ranks of whatever faction you're in.
Something like that. So something like that, but like broken down with each and every major character's story that you can play. You see, like what you're talking there, that we can do Luke Skywalker, and we can learn at the same time exactly what he was doing and how the fuck he learned to use the Force within these years that we didn't know between the fucking movies that we know of. The same thing with Han Solo. You get missions where you get to drive different vehicles and shit like that because he is a fucking pilot. You know what I mean? A great ass, the greatest pilot in the galaxy, whatever. Yeah.
John, what's that game we've been talking about periodically? The one in the arcade from the end of the 90s that goes through the 3 trilogies. It looks real good for its age.
I know what you're talking about.
They need to make a modern version of that.
Yes.
Something along those lines.
Which one?
Damn it, I can't remember the name of it.
I remember the name of it, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
What does it look like? Describe it.
Well, you can do the trench.
I'm trying to find it right now.
But yeah, you can do the trench run. You can do indoor. You can, it's such an amazing game.
It's Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. That's what it's called.
Yes.
By Sega.
Yes.
They need to make a modern version of that. That's what they need to do.
And you get to duel. You get to duel as well.
Yeah.
See, like the reason I think that the Old Republic was untouched and allowed to continue and is being allowed to keep being added onto is because none of that content shit is connected to the original trilogy. And I have a bad feeling that we're not going to get any new games anytime soon because of probably the legal bullshit surrounding all this crap.
Oh, see, that's what I loved about George Lucas. George Lucas would tell people, I want you to go out there and produce stuff. The only time I don't want you, doing something Star Wars is if you're, marketing like toys or figures where I'm not making my money off of it. But he would work with people, you want to make a game? Great. But here's a few guidelines that you have to follow if you want to make a game.
Yes.
You want to write a novel? Great. But there's just a few guidelines that you have to follow with the novels. But he was like, dude, anybody can share Star Wars. I'm not greedy. Anybody can go out there and share Star Wars.
James, the original Dark Forces was amazing. It was different. I still love that scene in Dark Forces where you can wander into the bathroom with all the stormtroopers taking a leak and just blow them all away there at the urinals.
Yes.
Holy shit, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
There's 4 stormtroopers taking a piss. They got their backs to you in the bathroom. You can kill them all at once.
I remember, though, when the original, what was it called? It was on strictly on the original Xbox with the Ebon Hawk, the ship, the Ebon Hawk.
KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2. Those are the 2 games that ship is in.
Yeah, it was KOTOR 1. That was on the original Xbox. And then KOTOR 2 came out when it was Xbox 2.
Knights of the Republic. I remember that shit.
Dude, it was turn-based, but the storyline was amazing, though. And just like George Lucas said, anytime you do anything Star Wars, you need to see innovation. Dude, you had so much innovation in that both of those games. It wasn't even funny.
innovation and simplicity. It was a blank slate. You know, at some point, Revan, he's in this place on what was the planet Terrace, where he's got to fight this guy in an arena, or fight this series of guys in an arena to like get to the next stage, and he's so alone. You feel that aloneness. You feel that not connected to anything else. But it's a good story.
Yeah,
Right.
And, well, hell, I loved the death bots that were in both of those. I mean, the assassin droids, those things, dude.
HK-47.
You got the feel they were menacing. You got the feel, you know, how deadly, you know, they were. I mean, and then the whole new ship of the Ebon Hawk, you know, that was pure innovation on their part. We got to see something we've never seen before. And it's not a cheap, crappy little ship like the Ghost.
Familiar, felt like Star Wars, but it wasn't related to the modern. The Ebon Hawk is a Corellian ship, and you can tell it is, but they made it look 3,000 years in the past.
Exactly. And it only had like a 1.5 hyperdrive in it, which the Millennium Falcon has an 8, which is about the max that you can get. But 1.5, you know, hyperdrive is wickedly fast for the time period. You know,
I would always, I love when you're traveling in that game and you get attacked randomly. I'd always be kicking back in my chair and I see the Ebon Hawk get hit, and I'm like, oh shit, got to get in the turret.
Yeah,
get my ass in the turret. But yeah, the reason why that worked, and this is the reason why I say the sequel trilogy should have just gone 100 years into the future, is you start with a blank slate. You don't have to follow anybody's fucking rules.
Yeah.
You just do what you're going to do. And, you know, as it turns out, they wrote this amazing story. And second greatest moment since I Am Your Father, where it's revealed that you are Revan. When I played that game, it was brand new. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody, but when the game reveals that you were Revan all along, that was the second best Star Wars reveal moment since I Am Your Father.
Yeah. Well, hell, you know, the one thing that I want to see on screen more than anything else, besides like more Luke Skywalker, I want to see what I call a Darth Bane trilogy.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I want to see Darth Bane when he was actually a Jedi, right? And I want to see him get tempted and fall to the dark side, right? And then he would be on not Coruscant.
Korriban.
Yeah, Korriban at the Sith Academy, right? And you would see the Sith war between them, right?
Killing each other.
Yep. Second movie would be Bane's rise in power and him get his obelisk armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third movie would be him pretty much wiping everybody out and creating the rule of 2.
You could have, like in the third movie, like somebody or several somebodies that were close to him when he was a Jedi. Yeah. They know who he is, and he has to kill them to get them out of the way so the Sith secret can be protected.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you would have him kill like his best friend or something at the end, and it triggers him to like create the rule of 2, one to have power and the other to crave the power, you know, and actually end the Sith Academy. That would be dark, it'd be twisted, it would be what we want out of Star Wars, and we could see something we've never seen on film. We could see Sith alchemy on film.
I want to see the Sithari race now that the Old Republic has made them reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see them like on screen.
I want to see the fucking elders. I want to know what the elders look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've seen the Wills in the Clone Wars, too. We could, this could go. I think the future of Star Wars, after all this shit is over with and things get re-rolled again, the successful stuff is going to be the side shit.
if someone takes if someone that knows what they're doing and loves Star Wars and and takes good control of it can save it. You know what I mean?
Well, hell, even older than Dark Bane, which I'd love to see on film, would be like the Hyperspace Wars.
Right. Or the Great Schism, where the Jedi and the Sith separate into Ashland and Bogan.
Yeah.
I mean, the origin of the Jedi is a story that needs to be told anyway. And,
Yes.
Along with the, how they came out of just the origins.
Well, yeah. The Sith are simple because the Sith separated from the Jedi and then landed on Korriban.
Right.
And no, it wasn't Korriban. Which planet was it?
You could tell like a story about the origins of the Jedi, like the first lightsaber. You can make it very Cloud and Final Fantasy type story where, he's in the military or he's kind of affiliated with the military and there's this big war going on and, everybody's got guns and all of a sudden this dude shows up with a lightsaber and people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Starts cutting guns in half and deflecting shit back at people. Yeah.
Right? They're like, we need one of those.
Oh, dude, like Hyperspace Wars, Jay, they weren't even using lightsabers yet. Jedi and Sith were using Force compressed swords at the time.
Yeah, them things with the fucking wire, right? With the wire with the battery.
They were like broadswords that they had, endued the Force into the broadswords. They hadn't even graduated to battery operated lightsabers yet. They were using the Force to endue them into actual weapons.
So that means that their Force use, their use of the Force, that era was much stronger than, because they can actually put it into a physical weapon.
Yeah. Well, back in the old days of what we think of the Star Wars universe, man, you saw powers from Sith and Jedi that you don't see today.
Right.
They have much more knowledge of the Force than what you see characters have today. They have much more access to it and were able to manipulate it, better. So
yeah.
But Maze, you know what I'm talking about, right? About like what I would call like a broadsword.
Yeah, they have them in the Old Republic game too. Again, if you don't want to use a lightsaber, you don't have to. You can actually get like a regular solid matter sword with like what's the word? It's the same thing that they have in those that like Jabba's guards have in the pikes.
Yeah.
Electrostaffs.
Yeah, it's just like that. They've got like an electric charge to give you an additional ouch. And I think if you go back and explore the start of the Jedi, you're going to find those damn things everywhere before lightsabers.
Yeah.
See, like there's so much history at this point that you can extrapolate out of what's already been put in there. You can tell a really good story.
Yeah,
you can.
Just don't trust Disney to do it. But,
you can. I mean, there's so many stories you can pull out from every character and tell it beautifully. But these people want to pollute it with agendas and shit.
The Mandalorian, I can't say anything, but we'll see.
I'm not watching that shit, man. And I'm not saying this towards you, Maze, or anyone else that wants to watch it. I encourage it. If that's what you want to do, no doubt, man, enjoy it. But me personally, I'm speaking for myself. I feel that if I watch it, it'll be a big disrespect towards Boba Fett and fucking Jango Fett and every Mandalorian out there, because this is stamped with Disney on it. That's just the way I feel.
I won't pay to watch it, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Everything shows up on Showbox, Jay. I'll give like the first episode or two, if it shows up free on Showbox, a shot and check it out. But from what I'm hearing, The Mandalorian's going to be a dumpster fire too. So, but
not surprised.
I will, I'll go into into it with an open mind, at least, because it is John Favreau. You know, um, I'll at least go into it with an open mind. But like what I've heard, it's going to be a dumpster fire, and but we'll see. You know,
I my mind can always be changed, but growing up, I was never big into the Mandalorian thing anyway.
I wasn't either.
It was it was Luke. It was Luke, Jedi. What's Luke up to? When my first run through Heir to the Empire, I was like, man, fuck this. Where's Luke in the next chapter? I'm gonna skip over this. I was skipping pages. Now I did hear the other day that unfortunately it's from Jeremy, but I'm just saying I wish I had heard it through another source that I could actually look up and verify, but Heir to the Empire is going to have somebody is trying to organize Heir to the Empire and do an animated version of it.
What?
Somebody, a super fan, is trying to secure funding to do an animated version of Heir to the Empire. You want to keep an eye, I guess, on or I can keep an eye on it for us on Jeremy's channel to see, because he's supposed to have the dude on. I want to know what it's all about, at least.
Wow. Well, guys, I hate to do this. I got to be up at 4 a.m. I am going to jet for the night.
No doubt. And I'm just gonna say, with for Maze as well, man. Thank you to everybody on the chat. You know what I mean? And we appreciate you coming by for the Lightsaber 101. Thank you, Star Wars Dad, for sharing your knowledge, as well as Maze, man. We love each and every one of you guys, man. And I'll be back tomorrow with a little bit of the Male Toxicity Show, which is be the Halloween special. Of course, for you alpha males out there, we're going to be coming up with a Halloween special for you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Otherwise than that, man, my boxing heads, I will see you Saturday with a boxing special. God bless. Stay vigilant. And good night, guys. May the force be with you.
Night.
Night, guys.
Later.